welcome to SF1. It's Simulation Formula 1. Welcome to the GP3 race. We're here at Japan for one of the closing. We're nearing the closing stages of the season, so it's really big fight for the championship positions now. With Jugster over almost 60 points ahead of second place in the championship positions. It's going to take a lot for Cardinal or anyone else to make a move on Jugster for the championship today, but we're here at Japan, a very, very notoriously difficult track for both overtaking and just staying on the track, because the corners are so fast. It can really be very difficult to stay focused for the entirety of the race. But we whip into Q1. We will not be doing full Q1, I do not believe. We only have 10 drivers near the end of this season. 10 of the championship contenders, they're normally here, so we're not actually missing too many people that aren't normally here. One or two on holiday or unable to make it today, so smaller grid than usual. Just means that we'll be able to get through. Oh, Seth. Didn't see, who was that? That just flew past Seth there. That was Massey 555, I think. Absolutely flew past Seth. Didn't even know he was coming. But Seth. So who now is? I think that is Massey. It'll be the first driver going for a flat-out lap in Q1. Remember, I think the rules are changed now, so you can do as much running as you want in Q1. But some drivers tend to stay away from that. So we're watching Massey 555 now as he scrubbing off a lot of speed as he comes under the bridge there, and I think, yeah, he's backed off entirely there. So on to Seth, who is now, I believe, the leading driver in Q1. He'll be setting the first lap on the super softs. All drivers opting to go out on the softs, but Seth on the super softs. Remember, it won't matter for this qualifying round. Seth coming now, out of the spoon, onto the long back straight now, to left-hander. Let's see what he can do. Very smooth and hard on the brakes for the final chicane. Here we go. Let's see what base time we've got from Seth as he comes towards the line now, laying the power on out the exit. It's a 1:31.37, but who's that in the background ready to set a lap down? Oh, Tom's gone off. Very lucky to get away with that with very minimal damage, but Tom going straight off there. Pretty big shunt, but he's managed to get back on track and get things going. Quite an easy place to go off, and obviously his tyres are fairly mucked up, so it's going to take him a while to get back on the run. Joe Morton there. He's stuck in a 1:30.8, so that's a very good try there from Joe Morton, 1991. Not familiar with the driver, so maybe he's particularly new, or he may have changed the name possibly. But a Ferrari driver on pole for the moment, almost a second. Well, let's go with half a second there. It's about half a second faster than Seth, so Seth on a 31.3. Gumba's posted a 1:32.1, and who's that? Jugster, of course, posting the fastest lap time in Q1 with a 1:28.6. That's really showing them what they've got to compete with on the soft tyres as well. So even faster than Seth on the supers, but on the softs, a hell of a lot faster there. As you can see, the gap, 2.2 seconds to Jugster. Lonely Plains into the pit. Tom into the pit. Remember, he lost his wing. Kimi Raikkonen's on an outlap. Massey 555 going for another attempt. He's on the super soft, so let's see what he can do. Keeping the power flat to the floor and hard on the brakes into the chicane. Keep it as smooth as you can, as little input as possible. Here we go, on the throttle and across the line for a 1:32.2. So the people on the super softs not really managing to get too much time out of those tyres. Lonely Plains in the pits, Tom in the pits, Kimi Raikkonen, he's on an outlap using the medium tyres. Very interesting choice there. Kimi wanting to see what they're doing. Is that Jugster on another lap? Yes, I did just yawn, I'm sorry. Let's see if he's going for another lap. He's in the hot lap mode, so I thought no, he's coming into the pits there. So he can wait for that last lap, and here's Cardinal, who looks like he's on a flyer as well, because he is in hot lap mode. Not much ERS remaining though. How's that going to pan out for him? I'm sure at this rate he's going to be coming into the pits. So Kimi Raikkonen, we know, on a lap. Be interesting to see what he can do on those medium tyres, but looking like there's a bit of lag surrounding him there, and a car in front. That is a Force India of Cardinal. No, it's not Cardinal, it must be Gumba then. Is he going to hold up Kimi Raikkonen? Because they both look like they're... No, Gumba is no ERS. He pulls off the track into the grass. Could have caused a bit of trouble if he had the rears lit up there. And Massey as well, going right off the track in the gravel. So he's made a mistake again. Kimi Raikkonen now watching him onto the back straight. Get the power down. Flat to the floor. All the way down. Oh, a little bit wide on his entry there. Into the chicane, final chicane. Knocking through, that might be a corner cut there for him, but on the throttle. Careful not to let the back step out as you come down onto the start straight. And across the line, it was invalidated by the looks of it, so he's going to have to go again on those mediums. Lonely Plains on an outlap. F1 Tom, who we've not seen a lap from yet. And Massey is still on track, I believe, but he's probably going to be coming into the pits. He has no fuel. Tom bursting down into the first corner and now up these very, very difficult S's. It's easy to get them wrong. So easy to get them wrong and so difficult to get them perfect. Here we go, carrying as much speed as possible into this right-hander. Yes, very nice. On the brakes. Could have carried a little bit more speed there maybe, but on the throttle up to the hairpin and see how late you can brake without scrubbing it and almost losing the back end there, and a lot of scrub as he turns in. Nice and smooth on the exit though. He's going to have to find a lot of time because that was going to cost him at least half a second just from being sideways on the brakes there. As we turn in for the old spoon. One of my favourite corners here on the throttle. Again, very easy to get the back end out as you exit onto this back straight here. This turn-in point is crucial. You can miss it by a mil and miss the corner by a mile. On the brakes. Oh, missing the apex by a mile. On the throttle for the final corner. Careful not to let the back step out on you as you hit the bump. Open the DRS and across the line. It's put him up in third, so quite a messy lap. But it's still put him up in third with the 1:30.5. So half a second off of Cardinal. But again, he's still a good second and a bit. So almost 2 seconds off of the leader. Cardinal almost a second and a half off the leader. So there is definitely time to find there. Whether they're sandbagging or whether Jugster, again, is just in a league of his own for Japan, we're yet to see. But Seth's gone out for another lap. Particularly much need as it's Q1 of only 10 drivers, so everyone is guaranteed to get through. Risking possibly crashing out in a qualifying session. Can be quite risky, but I guess on this track with lots of runoff, there's a smaller sort of risk of actually totaling the car on a lap, but it's still possible as Seth pulls out there. He's on an out lap, so it's not going to matter too much. Getting himself set and ready for this flying lap. And who else is out on track? So Massey's coming out for another lap. Remember, none of these drivers have to set a lap. They just have to not crash, basically. They're all through, but they do like to use this session as a bit of practice. Here's Kimi Raikkonen yet to set a lap. And he does set a lap on the mediums. 5 seconds off the leader. It has given him a 1:33.7 on the mediums. Joe Morton as well on an outlap, so I'll take the time whilst people are rushing about for Q1, because it obviously, remember, it does not matter at all what happens in this qualifying session, because everyone will be through. It is merely a sneaky little practice session for the drivers, basically. Get the setups done, sort out sort of how your tyres are feeling, how the track's feeling, and yeah, post the lap. Normally we have the drivers pull out, like all of them would pull out by now, but they're pushing to get as much track knowledge down as possible. Take this time to go through the standings. So it is Jugster leading the championship with 310 points at the moment, followed, I would like to say closely, but not so closely, by SF1 Cardinal, who's 59 points behind the leader at the moment. Now, I do say not so closely, but there's SF1 Gumba in 3rd position. There's a further 131 points behind second place man Cardinal, which, as I'm sure you can tell, is a massive gap to 1st position. So Gumba and anyone else really firmly out of the running, basically, unless, I believe, Jugster doesn't attend or doesn't finish in the points for any other race, and one of them wins everything, except for Cardinal. Obviously it'd be a bit easier for him. Then Gumba and Kimi Raikkonen aren't really going to be there, but from about 3rd, so 3rd down to 5th, 6th, 7th, really, Kimi Raikkonen in 4th behind Gumba, just 14 points behind. Druid in 5th, just 10 points behind Kimi. Seth in 6th, he's made up a lot of points recently, sitting just another 14 points behind Druid, so it all could change this race, but we're not really going to see a massive challenge for the lead until possibly the final race. Hopefully, if Cardinal can do something spectacular towards the end of the season. 7th, F1 Tom with 76 points, 6 points behind Seth. SF1 Mo in 8th, 5 points behind. Telhell 9th, 4 points behind that. And in 10th at the moment, Renault driver Bob the Flop with 61 points, 6 points behind Telhell. So it is relatively close from about 3rd downwards, but obviously that championship really is with Jugster or Cardinal. Oh, Joe Morton, just as I look up there, takes himself out. So that is the risk of running in Q1 so hard. I've got a phone call. It's not very professional. Sorry about that, a little bit unprofessional, but I have to answer that, I'm afraid. Yes, my ringtone is not particularly masculine, I know. So, Haven't really missed much as it's time 1. Really not paying too much attention to the lap times as people could be sandbagging, but most people have now retired. Those that are in the pits, if you are watching and you're not going to go out again, you can just retire from the session. That'd be brilliant. With prompt other drivers, but Cardinal at the moment still on track and going for a run. Coming to the pits, I'm assuming, at the end of this lap. Lonely Plains has gone out again, trying to get a faster lap in. So, on the softs, he's trying to go faster than a 1:33.1. Shouldn't be too hard, but we'll have to have a look and see. We'll swap to broadcast mode. Sometimes you get some good views from the Japanese track. Can't say the same for many other tracks on the Codemasters 2018 game. A lot of the broadcast visuals are fairly bad, so we tend to try and stick at TV pod. But here's Lonely Plains, starts his qualifying lap for Q1. Already a little bit touch wide in the first corner, but we'll stick with him and see what the runner driver can do. Really grabbing the curbs there. It's very easy to get these SS sections wrong. Extremely difficult to get them just right. Even more so to get them perfect. This is kind of where you can carry a hell of a lot more speed than you think, and there you go. Lonely Plains carrying a lot of speed. A little bit too much speed as he spins it. Just before he comes under the bridge there, that was just a little bit too much coming into that corner before. Goomba's retired from the session. I would have thought Lonely Plains would do now, but that is time for Q1. Lonely Plains is most certainly going to be either pitting or retiring, although if he just crosses the line he should be good. And that is Q1. Lonely Plains retiring on track, but it's alright because everyone had finished anyway. So that is your Q1. Jugster, of course, taking pole for the moment. Another 2 sessions, of course, but Cardinal not looking particularly close at the moment. Hopefully there's a little bit in bag. So that is a 1:28.6 from Jugster. 1.3 seconds faster than SF1 Cardinal on the same tyres, remember. Seth, 3rd position with a 1:30.4, but remember he's on a super soft, so should be a little bit more to squeeze out of those tyres. F1 Tom 4th, Joe Morton 5th. He's crashed out, remember, so he will likely not be able to participate in Q2. Massey 555 6th, SF1 Goomba 7th, Lonely Plains 8th, Kakashi I believe, and Kimi Raikkonen bring up the rear there for Q1. Holding on for the next session. Hopefully we've not had a game freeze. Please tell me no. Please tell me no. yeah, I think we may have had a bit of a game crash there, as everyone seems. Oh dear. If you are a driver and you've got the same screen, please let me know in the chat. That would be very, very much helpful. Too often this happens on the multiplayer lobbies. It's really quite annoying. I'm hoping that Seth, his son or someone, is on the chat. Well, that's awkward. It's not broken. They'd put it on short qualifying, and I didn't know. So, my bad, guys. You can all shoot me in the chat. It's not a problem. But at least I covered the qualifying positions for in depth instead of just passing by them like I would do if it was a Q1. I thought it said Q1 at the top of mine. It's not just Q. Oh well. So there will be, I think there'll be about 2-3 more minutes of the break. There's normally 5 minutes. I'm assuming we'll be going dead on 9, as it's 58 now. So sorry for confusing you viewers and probably drivers. But yeah, that's my fault. As you can tell, I'm thoroughly organised before these. So we will take this time then to have a look at the overall Constructors' Championships. That is the Constructors' standings for GP1, 2 and 3 combined. We don't tend to have a single GP Constructors' standings table or championship even going, I believe. So the combined Constructors, Ferrari are leading, not by much, with 707 points to McLaren in second place with 702 points, so very close there at the top. Force India in third at the moment, just shy of the 620 mark on 618 points. Mercedes in fourth with 501. Williams bring up fifth place with 471, and quite close to Williams is Renault with 451, so that could change this race. But they'd need a very, very good points haul for that. Sauber in 7th position with 341 points. 8th position is Red Bull, 339 points. And Toro Rosso in 9th position with 318. But they've actually moved from 10th to 9th, so they've made a little bit of a gain on Haas right there at the bottom with 304 points. So less than half the points of Ferrari and McLaren. And of course, Force India as well. As lights go green for the formation lap. You see Cardinal really has to mount some sort of attack on Jugster on the opening laps now, because with that sort of one lap pace, Jugster can really, or may well really be heading off into the distance then for this race. Let me know in the chat what you think. If any drivers are in the chat, let me know what the weather is going to be looking like, as I'm not 100% sure. It looks a little bit cloudy, but don't know if we're going to get any rain, light rain, heavy rain, anything. So if you do know, let us know. If you have any predictions that you want to share with us, let us know as well. I have a feeling Jugster may well pull away with this one, but I'd really like to see Cardinal, maybe Tom, Gumba to get up there possibly. Seth, he'd like to come back and get another podium position like he did in his last race. But it's going to be difficult to pull anything away from Jugster, I think. But I would really like Cardinal to poke his nose down on the first corner and try and... go from there to fend Jugster. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, maybe he'll get swamped by other drivers and could prove for a bit of a fight this time around. But not sure. Anything could happen. Let's just hope it's not too dominant from Jugster and that we don't have too big gaps. So Ryan Frick 97, come on, got brake tested. So I think that's Massey and Lonely Plains out while they're out of the formation lap. Massey removed from formation lap, but he's not sure why. Possibly a little bit if you've accidentally tapped someone a tiny bit, it tends to pull you out sometimes, Massey. But it's unfortunate because both Lonely Plains and Massey are going to have to start with stone cold tyres, and you might not think that affects you too much, but it really does affect your start. You will not pull away very fast at all. But it's 5 red lights. And away we go. There's a jump start at the back from Operator. He's going to have a drive-through penalty. Jugster gets a very good start. And Seth also gets a good start. He's pulling alongside Cardinal now, trying to challenge for second place into the first lap, first corner. But Jugster already starting to pull away there. Seth up into second position. Cardinal, Tom, Joe Norton following. Massey's snuck up the inside there of Joe Norton, so even on the cold tyres, Massey's really made a move there into 5th position. F1 Tom in 4th. Cardinal is going to be trying to get past Seth as quickly as possible because Jugster is, of course, just going to pull away. Seth has done a very good job to get up into 2nd position, though. Will this be another podium finish for Seth? Cardinal, Tom, Massey, Joe Morton, Operator, SF1 Gumba, Lonely Plains, Kakashi, and Kimi Raikkonen in 10th position. Cardinal sticking to the back of Seth. Both of them pulling away slightly to 4th position, but Tom is still there. Looks like he's going to be defending from Massey very soon. And Joe Morton holding on to the back of him very nicely there, as wide goes Massey and down the inside goes Joe Norton. Just a bit of a mistake there from the Williams, and the Ferrari driver takes full advantage of that and slips up the inside. So after the first lap, Kakashi's been taken out by the looks of it. Oh dear, is that an incident between Lonely Plains and Kakashi? By the looks of it, as Lonely's lost a bit of his front wing. Is he going to carry on, or is he going to pit? Into the pits goes Lonely Plains, so Kakashi out after just 3/4 of 1 lap. Let's give him 1 lap out of the race. Lonely Plains, obviously something to do with coming together there in 10th position, but let's keep our eyes on Cardinal and Seth as they battle out now for 2nd position in the opening stages of the race. Lonely Plains spun, unfortunately, so that may have caused the incident with Kakashi taking him out, but Seth keeping Cardinal at bay at the moment. It's Joe Morton, really. He's having to keep Massey and Operator at bay for the moment, keep him behind. They're nipping at his heels very much so. Cardinal gets within 1/10 now, very close to the back of Seth. Is he going to be able to make a move with some slipstream down the back straight now? He's definitely going to be sucked in good and proper by the back of Seth's car, but making a move into this corner can be very dangerous. He's not going to go for it. He's holding on for possibly down into the first corner. Kakashi left the session there. Cardinal's got to be careful not to get swamped by F1 Tom now as they come down the straight, because he's lost what would be his slipstream from Seth, I'm sure, will still get some, but Tom's going to get far stronger slipstream there. As remember, DRS is not open as we're only on lap 3 now, so DRS will be open for the next lap. But it's all just straight racing in the opening stages now. And Seth really holding on to that second position, which is great to see. A 5-second gap has opened up to Jugster. But it was fairly inevitable, wasn't it? The gap from second down to 5th, though, is really, really nice and close. Even down to 6th, actually. Very nice and close. So Massey, from Cardinal down to Massey fighting for second position, really, because they're going to be getting very close together very soon. Tom getting for a sniff, not quite close enough there, and there seems to be leaving Joe Morton behind a little bit. Remember, he's got a 5-second stop. Oh no, it was Operator's got a 5-second stop go penalty for the jump start, I believe. But hopefully we won't get too many penalties from drivers today. I'm getting pretty close down that back straight, but remember, it's just not a corner to go for an attack there at the end unless you are fully alongside or slightly ahead. Great to see these drivers racing so close. Seth, Cardinal, Tom taking the high line there to try and get a bit of a slingshot out the corner, but it hasn't worked to great effect. Really trying to get that Mercedes as close as possible to Cardinal, but he's touched the grass a little bit. He's going to have to lift off and scrub a bit of speed there. Cardinal is really looking. Tom gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner, so he really is pushing very, very hard to stay on the back of these two. Seth possibly controlling it or holding up Cardinal, maybe. We know Cardinal is quick, but would he have been quick enough to stay with the back of Jugster? I'm not sure. See what exit Cardinal can get now down this long straight and see if that DRS already opened, but it's just not a long enough straight. I don't think it's going to get close enough, and by the looks of it, Seth has a little less wing as nothing seems to be happening down into the first corner. Cardinal is still stuck behind Seth, staying within that half-a-second gap, but just not quick enough to make a pass stick or make a pass stick. Tom now dropping back. He's going to be pulled into the clutches of Joe Morton by the looks of it, because that gaps are getting ever smaller. But the real fight here is with Cardinal and Seth. Seth not really been able to show his true colours throughout the season. He's had a pretty difficult start to the season, especially with his qualifying performances. Has never seemed to manage to get a clean lap in, often hindering his race start position. Cardinal, he's been a little bit more positive, but no matter what happens to him, he never really seems to be able to perform when he's needed. So that was the car, Lonely Plains, I think, getting out of the way, getting lapped already on lap 5. There's Cardinal making the move down the inside of Seth. Seth leaves him plenty of space, but makes the cutback, so it's going to be side by side around the final corner. Is Seth going to get a decent enough drive? But he's been taken by Tom as well, so Tom's next to Seth. Seth got a really bad drive out of that final corner. Is he going to try and cut back down the inside of Tom, or is he going to leave it? We know Tom is definitely going to want to attack Cardinal, but he's not quite there. So Cardinal has managed to get past Seth, and so has Tom, being very opportunistic, as Seth was being maybe just a little bit too cautious, letting Cardinal pass there. And now it's Tom and Cardinal fighting for that second position, but Cardinal's really going to want to try and pull away now. Doesn't want to be fighting too much if he can. He wants to close that gap to Jugster, which is now up at 10.5 seconds. Tom's going to want to stay within half a second of Cardinal to keep that DRS, but he's just dropped out of the 1 second now, so is that the fight over for second position, and has Cardinal simply taken it now? Seth's sticking to the back of Tom. He's not going anywhere as well, but that gap between, Cardinal's really pulling away now. 1.5 seconds to Cardinal, so he's not going to have any DRS at all. It's Tom really now that's in danger of being passed again by Seth, and look, Joe Morton is very, very close to the back of them as well. This could be a very good fight for the final spot on the podium. So Seth managed to stay within the 1 second, but the DRS just wasn't quite enough for him to make it count. And this time around, Seth's actually dropped out of the 1 second mark, and that is Joe Morton right behind him, ready to pounce, ready to make that move. 1.4 seconds the gap to Tom, and Cardinal seems to have made a little bit of a mistake there, because Tom's now back up close and he's dropped again. That's Joe Morton past Seth now into the hairpin. Seth really struggling possibly for traction. Maybe he's pushed his tyres a little bit too much. In fact, we'll have a look. As Joe Morton pushed just that little bit too hard. And round he goes. So just seeing, yep, Seth was on that stronger tyre, so that will be the super softs now, just falling away a little bit. Joe Morton had the softs on, so he was really coming into play. Managed to make the pass, but just pushed that little bit too hard, and managed to get away there from... Seth managed to get away there from Joe Morton. That's what happens. It's all well and good being very quick getting past someone, but you've really got to try not to push too hard and not to make silly mistakes, because it can all be taken away from you so quickly, as shown there. So Seth now 3.1 seconds the gap he's got to make to F1 Tom. He's really got to try and push. Tom's falling away a little bit from SF1 Cardinal, but he's staying really within that 1.5 second gap. Seth, the one that has to pull his finger out now, try and regain that position. Almost a third of the way through the race now. Lap 8 of 27. And Jugster's 12 seconds ahead. That's another penalty for Joe Morton. I believe that's 2 now. That'll be 6 seconds added to him. We'll keep you updated on the penalties. I will have a break just towards the end of the race to find out exactly penalties, and we can then get a better idea of the finishing positions before we get surprised by some mix-ups, which often does happen. Seth finishing 3rd on the road last time out, had that taken away from him from penalties, got that reinstated then after, as he had one of the penalties taken away as it was unfairly given by the Codemasters game. Doesn't often happen, but he entered the pits and got a corner cutting penalty, which actually lost him that third position. But Stewart had a look into it and he managed to get that back. And that's Operator. I've just missed that. Operator now past Seth. So has Seth made a mistake there? Has Seth made a mistake which has pushed him now back past Operator? Looks like it, because they're now 25 seconds behind F1 Tom. So Seth must have made a mistake. No, he's gone into the pits. So that's me being clumsy. Seth making his first pit onto the medium tyres then, as he was on a super soft. Joe Morton has done the same. He's followed him in. But yeah, didn't think to look at the tyres there. But yep, Seth and Joe Morton in the pits then. So they will be our first onto the medium tyres. And there you go. Seth, Joe Morton, Massey, SF1 Gumba, Kimmy and Lonely have already... Lonely's actually pit twice. But yet to pit are just the leaders. So Jugster, Cardinal, F1 Tom and Operator. Yet to stop. Operator, remember, will have a 5-second stop-go penalty. So that'll be taken off, or that he'll be stopped in his next pit stop. It'll be a lot longer than usual. It'll actually be exactly 5 seconds longer than usual. A big jump start at the beginning of the race there. But it looks, to me, like Operator and Seth are very close together. It could be... No. So, okay, so Operator into the pits there from his soft tyres. So only going a lap longer than Seth, who was on the super soft. So he's actually managed to get the best out of his tyres there. Operator, not so much. Didn't serve a 5-second stop go penalty, though. Okay, that's very interesting. I could have sworn he had a 5-second stop go at the start there, but possibly not. So... Jugster, Cardinal, F1 Tom yet to stop the leaders. 12.5 seconds is the gap to Jugster. That hasn't actually moved too much, as Cardinal's really been actually pushing quite well. If he can start making an advance on that time and then pit, he might actually be able to make a net gain on Jugster, which would be nice. I can't see him catching and passing Jugster unless a big mistake is made, but definitely try and make a little bit of time on him in the pit stop stages. Now, what is Jugster doing? He's gone for another lap. Cardinal's gone for another lap. And Tom has not gone for another lap. So Tom in the pits now. Let's see where he comes out in comparison to Seth. Has Seth managed to make the undercut work? Seth all the way back on the back straight, and Tom already out the pits. So that maybe hasn't worked out so well for Seth. So Tom's still in the pits. Seth coming into the final chicane now. Seth still in the pits, still on the limiter. Seth on the power, out of the final corner. F1 Tom off the limiter and onto the power, so this is going to be relatively close, but I think Tom's going to stay ahead for the first corner. Yep, Tom stays ahead. And Seth follows him very close, with his tyres already up to temperature, remember. But both on the same tyre, so Tom may be a little slow for a couple of corners. And has another 3-second time penalty, so that's 9 seconds overall. Added to Tom's time there already. And we're only on lap 11. So Seth wasn't quite able to make the undercut work. He's now on 2 lap older tyres than Tom. And he's going to go to the end, I believe. So that's Cardinal and Jugster. Jugster leaving the pits now. Cardinal in the pits as well. Sorry about that, I'm getting phone calls at the moment. Slight emergency going on, but everything's good. So Seth now 8.7 seconds behind third place of F1 Tom. The gap's now starting to form. Massey's going pretty close to the back of Joe Morton, so keep an eye on that gap. But yeah, nothing really going too close together at the moment. Massey's on those super soft, so a little bit of a different strategy maybe he's going for. They're losing power everywhere as well. This is not going well. They kindly ignore my controller being an arse. The amount of AA batteries you go through. We're back with the action. Closest gap at the moment is 2.2 seconds between Massey and Joe Morton, so not much actually going. Some weird tyre strategies at the moment between Massey and Kimi Raikkonen. Most people on the medium tyres, however. Gap to Seth, 5.4 seconds. Jugster puts in a fastest lap of 1:32.3. It's Jugster from Cardinal from F1 Tom. Seth in fourth position, just 6 seconds behind the third place man of F1 Tom. Joe Morton there in fifth after his spin. Massey, operator Kimi Raikkonen, just 8 runners left in the race. Lap 16 of 27, 11 laps remaining. Massey passes Joe Morton. Finally. They're still battling it out now, so we'll have a look at a bit of the action as Joe Morton's looking to try and gain that place back, getting very close to the back of Massey, but Massey's taking a very different line on the throttle early from Joe Morton. He might get the run down the straight. He pulls side by side. This is going to be a very spectacular thing to watch. No, Massey pulls out there, going into the left-hander. Very wise of him. Gonna have to fight again for that track, but Joe Morton defending perfectly, getting that undercut, getting the power on early and sliding back past Massey in the pits then, so his super softs not working out too well for him. On the limiter very early there as well. Joe Morton holds on to 5th position for the moment then. Seth, that gap down to 6.5 seconds from F1 Tom. Your leader, Jugster, in the McLaren. Leading by 15.8 seconds now. Over 18 laps. 9 laps remaining. Cardinal, your 2nd place man. He's 11.2 seconds down the road of F1 Tom, getting past Seth earlier on in the race, which actually led Seth to be passed by F1 Tom, who's held 3rd place ever since, and Seth just wasn't quite able to hold on to that 3rd place position. So actually after that stop, Massey 555 has been pushed all the way back down behind Kimi Räikkönen, who's running in 7th on the soft tyres. So Massey's had a bit of a hellish race so far. He's going to be looking to try and get back past Kimi Räikkönen, who is on 9-lap-old soft, so it should be a little bit easier than not to get past Kimi Räikkönen. I don't know whether he'll be able to catch Operator, who's a further 20 seconds down the road in 6th position. Operator's only got 4 and a bit seconds to close on Joe Morton, so if he can do something with that, that will definitely put him in a good position for the end of the race. If he can get a little bit closer, because we know that Joe Morton has a handful of penalties. Massey very close now to the back, and Joe Morton's DNF'd. Kimi Räikkönen rounded about and reverses straight into Massey. The 2 Williams drivers take each other out. That's a 3-second stop-go penalty for Kimi Räikkönen, but that's going to be even more severe penalty for Kimi. Why has Massey just let Kimi straight past? Massey, you did not need to do that at all. You should have just carried on. That was not your fault. Or were you letting Jugster pass? That was a very strange thing for Massey to do, but he actually let the guy that took him out of the race by reversing straight into him back past. So Kimi Räikkönen now shuffling onto the grass. I don't know what Kimi's doing, but Kimi's actually stopped and let Massey back past by the looks of it. So two very confused Williams drivers, but that's not going to be a good haul for the Williams team now. As Joe Morton spun himself out, I believe, or hit the wall. That moves operator up into 5th. And release of pressure from Seth. Lap 20, 7 laps remaining. Nice picnic, Kimi. Viper to Catalonia says nice picnic, Kippy. Kimi. Nice picnic, Kimi. Very funny. So the gap's ever increasing now. Smallest gap we see is actually 4.2 seconds from Kimi to Massey, but Massey with huge front end damage, so I'd assume that Kimi would make it back past. Kimi does have a 5-second stop go, which will be added to the end of his race. So we only started with 10-11 drivers, but it looks to me like we may not even finish with half of them. Just over half of the drivers now, so... The gap between F1 Tom and Seth hasn't actually... It hasn't been increasing massively, but over the entirety of the race he has managed to lose that some 5 seconds. Initially it looked like he was holding on very well to the back of F1 Tom, but over the course of the 21 laps we've had, it's just not been quite enough, and every lap it's just slipped away a couple tenths at a time. It's just not quite been enough for Seth to hold on. Around lap 22, 23, I'll be having a look at the penalties, see where people are sitting. It could change things yet, but I don't think I have seen F1 Tom with too many penalties. I think I have seen Seth with 1 or 2, so there could be a change. There may possibly not be also. But Seth seems to have lost a good chunk of time over the last half of that lap, so that's very interesting to see. But Tom, Cardinal and Jugster staying with their heads down and really pushing on. Cardinal's found a little bit of pace recently. That gap hasn't actually got any bigger since about lap 17. It was originally setting off at about a second a lap from Cardinal, between Cardinal and Jugster, but seems to have levelled that out and possibly may even be going just a little bit quicker than Jugster at the moment, but 16 seconds is going to be a lot to find in just 5 laps. F1 Tom has dropped away somewhat as well, 6 seconds, 7 seconds over the last handful of laps, if that. So Seth really should be looking to pounce, but it seems Seth is losing that time as well. Again, he's on 2 lap older tyres than F1 Tom. So just 2 laps remaining. So Jugster on the final lap now. SF1 Cardinal, 16.9 seconds behind. Tom just coming onto his final lap now, so we'll have a quick look at the penalties. Jugster with not 1 warning. Cardinal with a 3-second. F1 Tom has a lot of penalties, so that could be the difference between... Yeah, Seth doesn't have 1 penalty, so Seth could now actually be taking 3rd position in the end. Jugster across the line to win yet another GP3 race. SF1 Cardinal will be following the 2nd place, and who will it be? Tom with a lot of penalties, I believe. Seth following only 10 seconds behind, so this could be Seth's 2nd podium position, or podium finish in a row, which would be brilliant for him. Here comes Tom. Cross the line, 3rd place for now. Let's see just how many penalties there were. Seth crosses the line and takes 3rd position by just 1.1 seconds. 3rd position going to Seth then from F1 Tom. Operator 26. Kimi Räikkönen and Massey. And that has been SF1's Japanese Grand Prix for GP3. There are your podium positions. Jugster, Cardinal and Seth. And we'll try and get them in now for a quick rundown, if I've got time. Jugster, we'll invite you. Apparently I don't have anyone else. Jugster, Seth, when I find him. Invite. invite to a party. Thank you. Cardinal, invite to a party. There we go. Just wait for them to get in, and we should be good. That's 4 people. Wonderful. Let's go in. There we go. So just remember to include your audio, guys.
Here and included.
Wonderful. So GP3 results tonight is Jugster, followed by Cardinal, and the second podium in a row for SF1. We'll start with you, Seth. Pretty solid drive. You had second position there for a while at the start, having to fend off Cardinal for quite a while. Got swamped by Tom when Cardinal finally got past, but a solid drive has eventually given you third position on penalties. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy with that. Second was a little bit lucky. I think I got a much better start than Cardinal. Took a wide line into turn one, expecting him to get the traction through, but I don't think he quite had the traction, and I was on the faster tyre, so I managed to get second. Held on for as long as I could. I think Cardinal, I probably would have let Cardinal pass sooner had Tom not been straight on his gearbox, but I ended up losing the position to 2 anyway. Lost a little bit of pace to Tom, which I expected. And to be honest, from there, I was just kind of managing the gap to the car behind rather than the car in front. Then my trusty little 6-year-old race engineer was keeping me updated on penalties, and I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I've got a shot at a podium now through penalties, so I don't think I got any at all that race.
Not for you, 2 warnings, but yeah, no penalty, as opposed to Tom getting... I think in excess of 15 seconds of penalties.
Yep. Yeah, so I thought he had around 9, so I was trying to maintain that gap. Then my little engineer said that there was a couple more that I hadn't heard, so I was like, okay, let's try and stay within 12 seconds. As I assume that's sort of whereabouts he'd be, and it paid off just.
Yeah,
but,
well, it did finally. I mean, him having 12 seconds did help a bit, but you were consistent. You weren't losing too much to him. It was only a sort of 2-3 tenths lap, if that. But over the course of the race, it did end up being a bit.
I probably spent a good 30% of the race in lean as well, which probably didn't help on the pace. But again, I was managing more so to the car behind than trying to catch the car in front. I think the entire time I was in front of Cardinal, I was running in rich with as much ERS as I had available at the time, and just try not to slow him too much. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. Good fun, that. Yeah, would have preferred to finish across the line in third rather than on penalties, but I'll take a podium. Yeah, I think that's about all I've got to say. I'll shut up now and let you get on to second place. It's my first podium interview of the season, so...
I think he might have died.
It was good. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I was trying not to slow... I don't know. I think his batteries might have died in his controller again. I was trying not to hold you up too much, Cardinal, but I was trying at the same time not to get pipped by Tom at the same time. But I think where you took me in that chicane, I gave you enough space, and Tom just flew through there.
Yeah.
So, oh well, that'll do.
No, it was all fair. It was all fair. I was trying to find a place. Are you back?
Yeah, it's not.
I am back. Yeah, I'd happily flick the mute switch as usual because I'm an idiot. But moving on to second position then. Congratulations, Seth. Brilliant drive, and congrats on the second podium in a row.
Yes.
Cardinal, yeah.
Yes.
Didn't quite have the start you wanted to try and possibly get in front of Jugster there, getting swamped by Seth and having to fight there to get past him. He did eventually, but not quite the challenge for Jugster this time round. How did it go from your point of view?
It went fine. I think I had a little more in quality, but as it turned out, it didn't matter. So I was happy with the second spot start, and yeah, starting has been a weak spot of mine all season. So Seth got me fair and square there. And like I said, I knew he was on the better compound, so I'm not going to force the issue in turn one. From there on out, it was fun trying to figure out where I could get around him because I don't have a lot of laps at this track. So it turned into part of a learning experience for me. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm going to get the points, good points, and I think I'm pretty solid. Just looking forward to GP2 next year.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jugster might be looking forward to GP1 at this rate, but yeah, no, it was a brilliant race.
Yeah,
The fight between you and Seth and as well Tom at the start of the race was really great to commentate on, to watch. So there should be a good like 10 laps of footage for you guys to have a look at. But yeah, really great to watch you guys, and a great performance from you, Cardinal. But just not quite enough for our winner tonight of, yet again, Jugster with a dominant performance. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, I was a little caught off guard by the short quality because we hadn't done that this season. I almost actually
You were caught off
retired
guard. I
not
was
going
commentating
out.
thinking it was Q1, mate.
Yeah, and I was
I
like,
don't know
what
why
the- and
people
then,
keep going out, but
yeah, I was at a party with F1 Tom, and he was like, "It's short quality." And I was like, "What?" And I looked down, I was like, "Oh shit!" So I was like, "I think the tire that we go in here is what we had to start on." So I just threw the soft on and tried putting in a banger, and it seemed to work out. And then I had a really good start. I pulled really hard off from the line there and didn't look back.
yeah, no, it's really good, solid drive yet again, pulling off into the sunset and pissing off the rest of the grid. But congratulations, mate. Really solid drive, and
Yeah,
well done again to
that was a
Seth
lot of
and
fun.
Cardinal.
It was fun. It was fun going back and forth the fastest laps there for a little bit on the medium tires there with Carl.
Yeah, that
And I
was
like,
it was fun.
I was like, I saw him put one in. I was like, I can't let him have it. So I had to go to reverse mode and one hot lap for a whole lap and banged out one. And I was like, there we go.
Yeah, lucky.
Yep.
I was trying to work out if I could pit back onto ultras and still keep fourth position. Glad I didn't now, but I was going to drop onto ultras and have a bash at. Probably wouldn't have got it because I'm not that fast, but I was going to have a bash at it. But I was trying to hit 30 seconds between the car behind. Well, next
Yeah,
season
I think it was a
be.
low. It was a low 132s, I believe.
Yeah, I put in a 132 2, I think, and then
Two? Yeah.
Kimmy
okay, 'cause
was
I had
yeah,
a 3.
Kimmy was on a really long stint there. He went medium. I don't know. What did he go on to? Did he go on to super? Did he go on? Yeah, he had to go on to super. 'Cause
Whatever he was on, he came flying past me to unlap himself.
yeah, he ended up getting the fastest lap there towards the end. I was like, wow. wasn't
That's
expecting
because
that.
he
fastest
spun
lap
in the
was
last
a-
corner and then reversed onto the track in front of his teammate, wiping him out. So they both had to go into the pits. That was on like third,
fastest
fourth lap
lap
from the end.
was a 132.173 from Kimmy.
Yeah,
So yeah, very low
Oh,
132.
oh man, milliseconds.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I shall end the stream
he was
so
on the
that
soft,
we don't
though.
give
We're on
people
mediums.
too much of this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, wrap it up. Wrap it up.